Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of our shooting program, and welcome to today's show. We're so glad to have you with us. I think we have some things you're going to find interesting today, hopefully some things you'll find educational as well as entertaining. We are glad to have you. Please, friends, if you're watching by satellite, call your local cable company and local TV station and tell them that our shooting show is free for them. They can make money on our program because we leave 3 minutes in our show they can utilize for local advertisers. So we need to reach as many people as possible. Also, our gospel show is off to a great start. We do appreciate everyone watching. That is so important. It is not a dull show. We talk about a lot of the same things on the gospel show that we talk about here on the shooting show. Certainly nothing that would disagree either way. And our radio program is really exciting, friends. We're worldwide now, and we're 9.475 on shortwave on Sundays from 1 until 2 o'clock Eastern Time. That's 12 to 1 Central, be 11 to 12 Mountain Time, and 10 till 11 out in Pacific Time. That is something that is so exciting. The American Freedom Network is an excellent organization. They're devoted to the same ideals that we are here, and we're very pleased to be in association with them. We'll be talking more about that later on the show. Well, you know, I heard a conversation the other day. Someone said, well, those handguns are just, we're not exactly sure what they're for. They're inaccurate. They're not very powerful. They just didn't see why we needed handguns. Well, this is our Ruger P90 45 ACP, not an expensive gun, not nearly as expensive as some of the 45s out there. And someone might say, well, you can't hit anything out all past about 10 feet with this. Well, let's see. Got our water bottle here at 100 yards. Let's see what it looks like. Well, that wasn't too hard. They might say, well, that's a high-tech semi-automatic. Okay. Let's take this Smith & Wesson revolver. This basic design has been around nearly 100 years. Turn the gun upside down, like so. Well, let's say, well, that's a premium grade target revolver. Well, let's try that. Take this old well-shot Super Black Hawk, old cowboy gun. Well, heck, that wasn't hard. And I say, well, that's a long barrel hunting handgun. Well, wait just a doggone minute. I say, well, what about, say, an inexpensive import? Okay. This is a little Rossi 971. Still at 100 yards. Well, I think it makes a case that handguns of a number of different varieties, from, shall we say, somewhat expensive to very inexpensive and even old-timey and utilitarian, are some very, very fine firearms. And I tell you what, friends, these handguns are taking the hit from the anti-gunners, and we cannot let them get away with it. We're going to be talking more about the usefulness of handguns on our program today, but I think this is something that really should be recognized. There are really some quality pieces out there that are capable of excellent long-range accuracy. Now, wait a minute. If you can consistently hit an 18-inch disc out there at 100 yards, where these guns will mostly be used to be much, much closer and more personal in self-defense, they're pretty darn useful for that. It would seem like it'd be pretty easy to get real good with these at the range we might use them at. Now, friends, we're going to show you something that I think may help a lot of us, because we're based here as far as the things we want to show you about guns and how they operate based in reality. So that's certainly our intent. We have our pro timer on here. This is something that could be important. Take our gun out of the holster. Now then, we'll punch our timer. Okay, that took 65 hundredths of a second from the time the timer went off for me to turn and hit my target. Now then, let's try it again. 65 hundredths of a second, probably an average time for some of us. 74 hundredths of a second for me to raise my weak hand, in fact my left hand, since I am right-handed. So we're talking about under a second now, literally. Let's try it strong-handed. 46 hundredths of a second to hit our target with strong hand, which shows me that, one, I need to be out here practicing some more with my offhand or my weak hand here. That is so important. We need to know how to shoot a gun with the hand that we may not be dominant with. I'm a right-handed person, but I shoot pretty well with my left hand, just given a little time, but we need to practice that some, just as much as you feel like it. Certainly a lot of us would like to improve with just our strong hand, but we really need to know how to use our other hand. One, someone may have hold of our other hand, so we need to know how to shoot with our other hand. But you'll notice it doesn't take very long. In fact, for me, hearing that start button, turning, shooting that target was less than half a second, 46 hundredths of a second. Not very long. Well, let's look at something that I think may be really important to a lot of us. You know, friends, we're talking about a nightmare scenario for a lot of people. You roll up to a stop sign, a bad part of town, somebody rushes up from the side wanting to take your car. Well, let's do a little testing briefly. We have our target here beside the truck, and I strongly recommend, if you try this at home, and do it with an unloaded gun. This is very important. Everyone around this program is a professional, and we have safeguards that a lot of you would not have at home. So please, please, if you try this, do it with an unloaded gun, period. So anyway, but this could save some of us or give us an idea of what we're up against. Notice that you can actually bring a gun up and shoot it in less than half a second. Well, a lot of people in some parts of the country will carry a gun, say, in their glove box. We're going to be using our little Rossi revolver here, and hearing protection is an absolute must, because if you had to shoot a gun in a vehicle, they are excruciatingly loud. It might blow out your eardrums. So what you want to do is preferably get the gun outside the car. You want to have your windows down if at all possible. Get the gun, the muzzle of the gun, past the door sill or the window sill. But let's just see how long it takes. Let's put our gun here in our glove box. We have our pro timer here. And let's see. Let's suppose we had a carjacker there walk up and the gun's within easy reach. Let's go ahead and turn our timer on. And we're going to do it with the delay, so we'll have a surprise start. Let's go ahead and start it. Got a carjacker coming up over here. I'm going to have to reach in the glove box and get the gun. Driving along here. We see the problem. We open the glove box, reach in for the gun, take it out, and shoot it. Well, friends, that took 4.83 seconds. Remember how long it took to shoot the gun? In one instance, less than half a second. 4.83 seconds. So you think you're well protected because your gun's there in your glove box. If you need it in a hurry, well, you might be wrong. Well, let's put it in the console right here. Let's try that. Press the start button. Hands on the wheel. Oh my, there's a carjacker out there. Okay, 2.8 seconds. It was right there in proximity. 2.8 seconds to get it out of the console and hit our target over here. All right, a good friend of mine who is a security and personal defense professional says one way to, if you're concerned, if you're in a high crime area, rather than most of us will not have the gun holstered on us, have the gun right here underneath your leg. Now this is whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And he's telling me, even if you're left-handed, you've got to maintain some control here. Get the window down, hold the wheel, take your right hand, grab the gun out the window, and bang. So let's see how long that takes in comparison. Start our timer here. Okay, 1.43 seconds. So we're talking much, much faster. So at least you've got a much, much better chance if you're remotely concerned. Let's have the gun right here under your leg. You can still operate your brake pedal, your accelerator pedal with your right foot there, but if you need it, pull the gun out and you can get it pretty quick. All right, I lean toward the revolver for ultimate speed. Now we have a 1911 here with an empty chamber. So let's try the same drill with our 1911 with an empty chamber. Hammer down, okay? Here we go. Have it under our leg. Okay, one, we wound up with the case back in the car, but it took us 2.56 seconds, over 2.5 seconds to get it out. Try the same drill with the gun cocked and locked, safety on. Start button. Okay, 1.47 seconds, right in there with the double action revolver. If you're trained to use the 1911 or any of the safety models, they can be pushed off quickly. So 1.47, but you'll notice, we'll go ahead and unload this gun. You don't have a lot of time because whoever your attacker may be over here will be at a sincere or severe advantage to you. Well, friends, I do want to mention something to you, and I owe these folks an apology out at the 1996 Fun and Freedom Shoot because it took place August 9, 10, and 11. And for some reason or another, this was misplaced. I didn't get to do the promotion on it, but the viewers of our show, and next year I'll certainly do some promotion for you. I'm sorry, we're just behind the curve a little bit on this, but it was going to be at the Roger Wells Rifle Range, 5 miles south, 1 mile west, 1 mile north of the Kearney, Nebraska I-80 interchange. So that was the Fun and Freedom Shoot for 1996, and we hope that you folks sure had a good match there, and we'll certainly try and make amends for this next year. You know, friends, these firearms are essential to retain our freedom, but there's something else that is just as essential for retaining our freedom, and that is getting the proper information, getting the proper knowledge about what's going on, not only in our nation but in the rest of the world. And the best way that I know of to do that is with a subscription to the New American Magazine. Now, this is the new cover, and I tell you what, friends, these folks literally have cutting-edge information that very possibly you can't find anywhere else. You certainly won't find the combination that is offered in the New American. You can get a subscription for $22 for a 6-month subscription. It comes every other week, twice a month, to the New American. You can call them 1-800-727-TRUE, 1-800-727-8783. And absolutely, this is the finest news magazine that I know of that is available in this country today. This, of course, is the new cover. These are available now, some on newsstands. So they are really growing, and with good reason. Please tell them you saw it on the shooting show for if you do call in and get a subscription, because trust me on this one, friends, it is essential that all of us as patriotic Americans know what's going on, and you can know a whole lot more by reading the New American Magazine. Call them 1-800-727-8783, and please tell them you saw it on the shooting show.
The Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Gun Sight Training Center.
Front sight. Get it off. Ready? Grip!
People have a tremendous change in attitude here.
Go down to your target, stand about 1 meter back of your target, and do not taste it. Do not taste it. Relay 2 7-meter line.
Then you go on down to a standard prone.
The methods taught here at Gun Sight have set training standards throughout the world. Defensive weaponry techniques afford the greatest speed, power, and accuracy. Students attending Gun Sight are afforded the luxury of having an on-site custom shop for immediate service or repairs. It is a full-service gunsmith operation, performing the highest quality of custom modifications on all types of firearms, handguns, or long guns. And the Gun Sight Pro Shop, a retail service dedicated to providing the best shooting products and items available in the world today.
Now, friends, for information on the Gun Sight Training Center, on their custom shop, or on their pro shop, give them a call, area 520-636-4565. Area 520-636-4565. Get a catalog, get information on their custom shop, or on the tremendous stock in their pro shop. They're some of the finest people out there, friends. If you go to Gun Sight Training Center, you will definitely come back knowing, one, how to shoot a gun and how to better protect yourself in this dangerous world we live in. Now, friends, in a car like this compact truck here we're in today, the smaller gun with the shorter barrel has some distinct advantages. One, you've got to come across this steering wheel. You've got to get it out, come up across the steering wheel, and go out there and shoot the gun. Whereas if you had, say, a long barrel gun like this Super Blackhawk, so you can get it hung up on all sorts of things. You may get it hung trying to get it out of the car or get it as far as into your line of sight here. So definitely this is where the smaller, the 45s excel, the smaller 357s, 38 specials, 9 millimeters really do excel under circumstances like this, because you can, believe it or not, get pretty quick at this, reaching your gun, and we have a center hit over here. And the same drill, and something I want to warn you about, as always, this is not something for people to do or even think about doing if you have not trained some with your gun. Because, you know, friends, when the balloon goes up, when something happens, you'll revert to your subconscious. If using a gun is not transcribed into your subconscious thinking, you're not going to know what to do. But if you have, say, had a course like Gun Sight offers, like some of the other fine security or fine training agencies around the country offer, then you would know how to deal with a situation like this. I don't agree that the semi-automatics are going to be very fast to come into play. Some people talk about the Israeli draw. Well, here we are in the car, and you're trying to rack the slide on this thing. You may have other people around you. Your gun is much more effective if it's in the condition one, if it's a semi-automatic with a chamber loaded. The revolvers here really do have some advantages, I think, because regardless of which hand you're using, all you have to do is point and pull trigger. And it doesn't depend. You may not have a locked wrist when you're pointing here now, and realize that all these semi-automatics, every last one of them, will malfunction sometimes when you least expect it if you don't have a locked wrist. Well, you may be in a position here where maybe your wrist is not completely locked. And trust me now, they will all jam. Every last one of them will malfunction if you don't have a platform here for that slide to work on. Plus, on a semi-automatic, and realize I'm wearing these excellent hearing protectors, the semis are going to throw the hulls maybe back in the car, and that may be disorienting. It may frighten some of the people with you. Of course, gun starts going off, around the car. I think everyone's going to be scared, but that is another consideration that the revolvers just don't have to worry about. An excellent gun for protection in your car, whatever, would be this Smith & Wesson 625 with 45 ACP cartridge. Not nearly as loud, not as much penetration, say, as some of the other handgun calibers, but pretty darn effective. Easy to use, not a lot of recoil. Easy to shoot fast and well. So, something we thought we might show you that could save somebody's life.
You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today.
Friends, we hope you're enjoying our program today. We're enjoying bringing it with you. I sit here with my esteemed colleague and co-radio personality. How about that? Do you like that pretty well?
Well, personality is broad enough to cover a wide range of sins, Joe.
Well, that's true. I suppose so. Friends, we're really enjoying our radio program as well as, of course, our television shows. But we're having a chance to talk to a lot of folks out all over the U.S. and, of course, now we're worldwide. You know, I take some comfort in, you know, the anti-gun liberal people have got to just really resent that now we're worldwide on the on shortwave, certainly on the American Freedom Network.
You aren't by any chance talking about the Outdoor Channel?
Oh, no. What? I don't know, certainly not. But anyway, friends, we do want to mention the American Freedom Network is a superior organization of people. And that's true. Last time we supported the network, the results weren't as happy as, but here we have a whole different crowd because the people at the American Freedom Network have a Christian base. And so we believe in them fully as far as what their intentions, their ideals are. And they have a tremendous catalog now that you can buy shortwave radios, you can buy all kinds of neat stuff that a lot of us would really like. And you can call them for that free catalog and get your pencil now. Write this down, 1-800, free phone call, 1-800-205-6205, 1-800-205-6205, and get that free catalog from the American Freedom Network. And we're very proud to be associated with them. We certainly want to support them. Something else I want to mention, a friend of ours out in Montana, and please forgive me, he sent this to us some time ago, and it got stuck back in the file there. This is the Wild Game and Fish Cookbook. One of our viewers up there, and his name is Frank Murillo. And Murillo, I believe I said that right, and they have most entertaining, and you ever had any buffalo sausage burritos?
No, I can't say that I have.
Well, I hadn't either, but
I haven't had buffalo stir fry with broccoli either.
I'll tell you what, it sounds real good, and venison steak and onions and venison and mushrooms and Montana roasted, all kinds of neat stuff. And if you'd like to have a copy of this excellent cookbook, you might give Frank a call there, area 406-248-3120. Again, 406-248-3120 for the Montana Wild Game and Fish Cookbook.
Well, Johnny, there's one trouble. I can't go to the grocery store and buy buffalo steak.
Well, that's true. But for those folks that like to eat venison, that actually cook what they catch out there, you know what I'm saying?
You sound like my wife. When somebody comes back from hunting, she says, "Did you catch anything?"
Did you catch anything? Well, friends, here we are. And, of course, someone told me a few days ago, they said, "Johnny, you know, you and the judge sitting there, and you got that AR-15 sitting in front of this No More United Nations flag." Said, "Well, isn't that a little harsh?" And I said, "Well, you know, when Paul Revere, we said this on the last program, when Paul Revere went around, did he go and did he just sort of say, friends, the British could be coming, they could be coming, they might be coming, or we need to sort of think about maybe," he didn't say that. What did he say, Judge?
I don't know what he said. I think he said the redcoats are coming.
Well, but he said it in a loud voice, didn't he?
Yeah, sure. He would, but they were, at that time, you have to remember that the colonists were British.
Well, that's true.
The redcoats were the troops, so he said the redcoats are coming.
Well, what were they coming to do, Judge?
They were coming to disarm the colonists by taking over what they had understood was a stock of guns and munitions that they had.
Well, we've kind of got a double whammy going. Not only are the Clintonians and the environmental wackos coming, these knuckleheads here from the United Nations are also coming.
Well, don't forget the BATF. They'll seize a stash of guns wherever they can find it.
Well, now I'm glad you brought that up. You know, friends, Gordon Liddy said a while back that the people that constituted the initial Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms were they were the Prohibition people back when alcohol or alcoholic beverages were prohibited, and they were those folks that didn't have jobs that got transferred over to BATF that knew. Well, there's a whole lot of doubt about the good according to the terrible things that we see coming out of government. Friends, all these government people that are going around causing trouble and starting things that are trying to stir up stuff, you know, Judge, we've got a surplus of potholes in this country. And I think that some of these government agents who really should not be stirring up trouble and causing things like burning people alive at Waco and shooting mothers holding their babies in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, or some of these other ridiculous things that they're trying. We need potholes being fixed. You know, now all you'd have very low cost of getting in it. You need a 5-gallon bucket. They could collectively get a dump truck there loaded with hot mix, a 5-gallon bucket, and a shovel, and give all these people, give them something to do. You let them go out there and fill potholes. That would be a genuine service.
Well, I grant you, Johnny, that potholes need to be filled, but we also need to reduce the size and the cost of government.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I was up at New London, Groton, Connecticut last week, and saw the USS Louisiana, the 18th Trident submarine,
right,
being christened, and then now a week later, Electric Boat Company has sent termination notices to 960 employees. It was in the paper this morning, effective in October. 960 people are going to be without jobs.
Well, we're not talking about floor sweepers here. We're talking about professionals, engineers, people that have been building Trident submarines, right?
Well, they've been building Trident submarines. I don't know what you would call them as far as their individual occupational skills are concerned.
I mean, nothing against floor sweepers at all, nothing, but we're talking more highly trained, higher paid positions.
Well, now in New York City, janitors get paid more than teachers do. Did you know that?
No.
Isn't that something? Seriously, talking about the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, here's an article in the Gun Owners publication. This is the volume 15, number 4, August 7th. This comes from the Gun Owners of America, and I want to boost that organization again still, because the Gun Owners of America is a great organization. Larry Pratt is its executive director. Retired Senator H.L. Richardson is its founder and chairman. And they've got a telephone number. They're in Springfield, Virginia, just outside of Washington.
Right.
Phone 703, that's Virginia's area code, 321-8585. And you can join Gun Owners America, and you can get your own copy of this periodic publication. It's a good one too. For example, this time they've got a picture of Helen Chenoweth, who happens to be one of my favorites. And why is she my favorite? Well, among other reasons, and this is mentioned here, she introduced an amendment to the agency, to BATF's agency's appropriation last year to limit pay increases and bonuses for their agents, and her amendment failed. But it was the right idea. It was a good sentiment.
Well, you got an agency literally that is attacking our own people.
Well, here's an example here. A dozen heavily armed law officers in black SWAT uniforms, I don't know why they need to wear black SWAT uniforms, burst into a St. Louis area home and held a couple at gunpoint, turned the house upside down in a weapons search. Now, I don't know what, I've got weapons, they're not illegal, and there's absolutely no reason for them to come looking for weapons. Maybe they were looking for machine guns that were unregistered. However, I've got something to say about that in a minute. Instead of turning the handle, open the door to the kitchen, they kicked it in, broke the frame. They were yelling ATF, but nobody in the family knew what that meant. And there were no guns in the house. Never had been any guns in the house. The agency was held at gunpoint for several hours. They tore the house apart and then realized that they'd gone to the wrong house, and they offered no apology and did nothing to put the house back in order but left. Now, that's outrageous.
It is
That
outrageous.
is simply outrageous. And if I go busting into somebody's house, I'm held responsible for it. And I think by golly, they ought to be held responsible. And I found a federal statute that said they were responsible for it too.
Now, friends, what do Jim Clark Sr., K. Clark Michalik, Jerry Michalik, and Jim Clark Jr. have in common? You can find them all at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the finest custom gun shops in the entire country. They offer all sorts of custom packages on 1911s and other semi-automatics, from race guns to custom carry guns. They also offer a number of different custom packages for the Ruger 1022, and also have some very economically priced new 1022s in stock. Clark Custom Guns offers some of the best revolver packages available anywhere, including action jobs on your Smith & Wesson or some other fine revolvers. In addition to custom work, they also have a completely stocked gun shop, anything from bullets to powder to accessories that you might want. Clark Custom Guns offers some shooting classes. You need to call for availability. Friends, it's certainly good for the shooting show, but good for yourselves when you call and get a Clark Custom Guns catalog. They have all sorts of things listed about their products and services and excellent prices. Give them a call, area 318-949-9884. Again, 318-949-9884. Clark Custom Guns, the complete custom gun shop. Give them a call today. Tell them you saw it on the shooting show. Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Soldier of Fortune magazine, published and edited by Robert K. Brown, former Special Forces A-Team leader, delivers the goods. For over 20 years, Soldier of Fortune has been on the lines covering wars from Rhodesia, El Salvador, Angola, Grenada, Burma, Panama, and Croatia. Anywhere a shot has been fired in anger, Soldier of Fortune has been there with in-depth, on-the-scene commentaries. We were on the cutting edge at Waco, the Randy Weaver siege, and covering the Oklahoma City bombing, and now at Jordan, Montana, with Soldier of Fortune correspondent Jim Pate being the first reporter to enter the Freeman compound. Each issue of Soldier of Fortune features articles by internationally known weapons expert Peter Kokalis, evaluating what's good, what's bad, and what's new in the field of weaponry. Soldier of Fortune is in the front of the battle to protect our gun rights, and we're constantly on the alert for federal abuses of power. Subscribe now at the special rate of $28.90. Call 1-800-877-5207 and receive 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine. In addition, you will receive a free copy of Fighting Firearms, edited by Peter Kokalis. Again, 1-800-877-5207, 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine, $28.90. Friends, with your Shooting Show Soldier of Fortune subscription, if you did not receive your issue of Fighting Firearms magazine, give them a call back in case you were somehow left off their list. Please call them back. They'll be happy to get it out to you. We do want to remind you now that the Soldier of Fortune convention is coming up in September. So if you'd like to get reservations or get tickets for that, find out more information, give them a call, area 303-449-3750. Again, 303-449-3750. Or information about the Soldier of Fortune convention in Las Vegas. Well, just like some of these DEA people, I think some people call them jump out boys. They view
going and attacking someone. Some of these officers who really shouldn't be officers view this as sport. It's fun to go in and scare people half to death. And like you said, some police officers are police officers for the very reason they shouldn't be, because they enjoy terrorizing people, enjoy having power over others. Not all, of course not, but there's a number of them that do.
Well, let's talk about these records that the BATF has. In October 18th of 1995, that's less than a year ago,
yeah.
Thomas A. Busey, B-U-S-E-Y, who was chief of the National Firearms Act branch of the BATF, that's the official custodian of the Firearms Register and Transfer Records, made a videotape recording at one of their roll calls presented weekly to BATF agents, in which the bureaucrats learn about each other's jobs and functions. And in his presentation, he described the official National Registry of Title II firearms, that's automatic weapons, silencers, short barrel rifles.
Not one of these. We're talking about full auto.
And he made the startling revelation that officials under his supervision routinely, get this, routinely perjure themselves when testifying in court about the accuracy of their records. This is simply outrageous. It occurred 880 times in 1995, presumably fiscal year 1995.
All right, hold up. Now, what we have here is an interagency documentary by the government's own people that admit they lie constantly, right?
That's correct.
Lie under oath now, friends. Wait a minute.
That's in court.
We're not talking about white lies. We're talking about for real lies under oath in court. Judge, what happens when someone lies in court, the normal citizen? What happens?
Well, if you prove that they lied in court, you've got a perjury charge, and that's felony.
And you go to jail over that, don't you?
You sure can.
Well, why can our people in government, in this agency in particular, why can they get away with that? See, and these are the people who want more control over our guns, want more control over wiretaps.
And in the crime bill, wanted $100 million extra money, more money.
So they can do an even better job? No, wait a minute, friend. See, this is one of the huge problems. These people, these are the people working, they call it now the Clinton Bureau of Investigation instead of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, due to Louis Freeh apparently just when Clinton says jump, Louis Freeh says how high. This is really disturbing. I mean, these people are not trustworthy, friends, and we have people who are clamoring to give them more power and take more of not only our gun rights, but also our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly, our freedom of what we can look at and talk about.
How about freedom of religion? That's what happened at Waco.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know, Judge Ona, I've commented on to someone about our gospel program. They said, Johnny, what in the world are you doing hosting a gospel show? I said, well, it's sort of praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. But you know what terrifies these atheist socialist nuts? You know, the fact that we're gun owners terrifies them. But if you're a Christian gun owner, they're absolutely apoplectic. Is that the right word there? They really get nervous if you're a Christian gun owner.
Well, this was actually on tape, and there were apparently multiple copies of this tape, and there was an attorney in Greensboro, North Carolina, who was a former Justice Department prosecutor. He knew about that tape. I don't know how he found out, but he knew about it. And under the Freedom of Information Act, he precisely described it to produce it in court to show the inaccuracy of the BATF records and the fact that the BATF agents routinely lied in court. And after much oohing and ahhing and trying to figure out, scratching of heads, trying to figure out what to do, they finally produced the tape. It's called the Busey, B-U-S-E-Y. The Busey tape was produced in February of 1996 for this attorney. And incidentally, lawyers who are defending people on National Firearms Act charges might very well want to talk to the attorney that handled that. That's Mr. What did I say his name was? Jeffers, James H. Jeffers. You might try him at 910-282-6024. That tape is now a matter of public record and is out of the exclusive control of the BATF. I had a National Firearms Act case a number of years ago where a man down in DeSoto Parish, who incidentally, although the government never found this out, had a commission as a deputy sheriff. And the federal agents, he didn't make any secret of the fact that he had a couple of machine guns, Schmeiser German guns, short barrel shotgun, and some sort of an automatic pistol, and had carried them in parades. But the BATF heard about it, and they went down and they wanted to get real proof of it, so they posed as gun collectors from a distant place. Said that one of their friends told them, if they ever got by Logansport, Louisiana, be sure to look up old Joe Jones. That's not his name, but that's close enough. Because he had a fine gun collection. And so they went there, and of course, like any gun collector, when somebody says they're a gun collector, yeah, sure, come on in, take a look. And so he showed them his guns, and then they went back and filed an affidavit showing probable cause that they had seen it. And I defended that case, and I was successful because there was an old case under Prohibition, the Fraternal Order of Eagles case, in which the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, at that time just alcohol, had raided a speakeasy, private club, and they had posed as members from a distant chapter of the Fraternal Order of Eagles, and they found alcohol being served and arrested all these people. And that was a very interesting case because the court held that those people were where they had no right to be, and they got there under false pretenses, and the charges against the Fraternal Order of Eagles was dismissed. That kind of dismayed the government agents on this trial, and they finally dismissed their case. One of my friends was in court, and it was sitting right in front of the BATF agents, and one of them was bragging. He said, he's going to lose because when I investigate a case, it's investigated. He investigated a little bit too much.
Well, they're just people, too. And unfortunately, now we have a lot of questionable people being hired by the administration in Washington. This is really a troublesome thing, friends.
Well, it bothers me, Johnny, when any agency condones, in fact, it seems to encourage their agents to lie under oath in court. Now, that's bad. That is really bad.
You know, it shouldn't be us against them, should it, Judge? Aren't we in this thing together? It shouldn't be the government against the people.
Well, they're supposed to be working for us.
They're supposed to be working for us rather than against us. And I do want to mention, there's been a newspaper article and some coverage on television how a new government-funded survey has showed that everywhere the concealed carry licenses for citizens to carry guns has been issued, crime has gone down.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to find it in any of the local newspapers.
So, Johnny, how's the deal with the satellite going?
It's going good, Catherine. We really offer the best bargain I'm aware of for satellite dishes. This is a full-size dish. You can get up to 500 channels of all kinds of programming on the satellite dish. The best bargain. I know of people that have paid $2,500 for this same system. This is first-line equipment, the largest selling dish in this country, the Unimesh dish. And you can have one of these remote control satellite systems now, $1,496.15. That's installed. You don't have to go out in your backyard and start digging holes and putting concrete down. This is having it installed for you. Remote control, an excellent receiver. This is the best deal I've ever heard of on satellite dishes. And give Bobby a call, 1-800-728-8486, 1-800-728-8486. If you're interested, maybe if you'd like to have a new dish, maybe you'd just like to upgrade your equipment. We have equipment upgrade packages also. Friends, we need to get as many people as possible watching the satellite programs, because certainly you can get
much more truth than the little dishes is just, that's another form of cable. But when you have one of the large dishes where you can get everything that's up there, believe me, through different packages, and plus 100 or so free channels. So really good deal. Give Bobby a call today for our satellite program. Catherine, you know, our shooting show competition, Ruger P90, is really doing good for us, all our testing. And of course, we have shot this thing and shot this thing. Speaking of handguns, have you heard about the Ladies Charity Classic in Houston on November 16 of this year?
No, I haven't.
Well, which is sort of almost not true, but
Almost.
friends, there is going to be it's the first annual Houston Ladies Charity Classic. It's the handgun event for women only. It's produced by the Women's Shooting Sports Foundation and is benefiting the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which that's a really nice thing that they do all kinds of stuff, don't they? The Make-A-Wish for people that have terminal...
For people who have terminal diseases, children who are in poverty, at Christmas they go around to give them things.
Well, this is a great thing. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is something we certainly want to support. And, of course, I know that you don't have a carrying handgun, but that you carry all the time. But, ladies, don't worry if you don't have a handgun. Smith & Wesson is helping to sponsor this, and they're going to supply handguns. Federal's going to supply the ammunition. And for one entry fee, I believe it's about $65, you get lunch, ammunition, and free drawings, and also free instruction with the handgun. Heck, that's reason enough for the ladies to go, isn't it? So, anyway, it's going to be in Houston on November 16 at the that's the Ladies Charity Classic, and that number.
Don't forget to tell them it's in Houston.
Okay, did I say it's in Houston?
No, you didn't say it was in Houston.
I didn't. Well, okay. The number is area 713-584-9907 if you'd like to inquire by fax. You can do that. Area 713-584, that fax number 9874. So you want to give them those numbers one more time.
To call them, it's area code 713-584-9907, and for the fax, it's area code 713-584-9874.
That's in case they weren't listening to me, they heard you say that word. So anyway, this is a very nice thing that these folks are doing, and we wish them a lot of luck. We're going to try and support them. Hopefully we'll get down there and do it.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
But anyhow, that's what all of us have known all along. But the FBI took a study, had a study made, or examined the results of a study, and finally concluded that it was correct. And so they found out what most of us have known for years.
Sure.
That an armed citizenry
deters
crime.
Sure.
All there is to it.
Speaking of that, we want to mention a couple of folks here. Helen Chenoweth needs our help. She's running for re-election in Idaho. Am I right?
That is correct.
Certainly, let's mention a couple of other folks here. Sheriff Mack, in what county is he in Arizona, Judge?
I'm not sure if it's.
But he's one of the sheriffs that has challenged successfully so the Brady bill. He's of Graham County, Arizona, and their post office box 327 in Safford, Safford, Arizona. That zip is 85548 or 855. They got one too many numbers there. 48. Anyway, Safford, Arizona, box 327. And he is. We've met Sheriff Mack on a number of occasions, and he's straight ahead, and he certainly needs our help. He does have some opposition there that is being funded by some of the liberals, so that's something we're concerned about. And what about our friend Woody Jenkins, sir?
Oh, Woody Jenkins. We got an excerpt from a tape of his on the program this week, I think. Woody is a Republican nominee. Now, in the latest poll, is shown as running second in the race in between two Democrats. And there's a lady-type Democrat from New Orleans that's leading the pack, and Woody is a little bit behind, and just immediately behind him is the Louisiana Attorney General, who's also a Democrat. And understand, I support Democrats when they're on the right side of the fence.
And we lambast Republicans when they're not.
And there's some I have lambasted on this program, for example. But Woody is really a key person that we need to have elected to the United States Senate. And since there are about 30-some-odd% of the electorate that answered that poll undecided, we believe that Woody has an excellent chance of being elected to the United States Senate. First thing we need to do is get him into a runoff. Get him started his television yet. And if I added it up, if the rest of the Republican candidates drop out of the race, or for some reason or other are not in the runoff, and if those votes go to Woody, he'll have built in already about 46 or 7% of the vote, still with all those undecided. Right. So I think he's got a good chance of being elected to the Senate.
He is a friend of ours as gun owners' friends, and we need more people that will stand up for what's right, will stand up to these people that literally want to disarm us and destroy our way of life. We need people like that in Congress. This is the key. We don't know what we're going to get as
well. Woody says there's something wrong in a country where you get a $1,000 fine and a year in jail for breaking or destroying an egg of an eagle, and yet you can destroy an unborn child and just get rich for doing it. That's Woody's got something on that. I don't know what the answer to it is, but it's not what we're doing.
Well, in fact, let's run a brief comment here from Woody right now.
A young man, a homeschooler named Michael New, court-martialed for refusing to wear a United Nations uniform. He should be given a medal instead of court-martialed. No American soldier should ever be required to wear the uniform of the United Nations or be under the command of a United Nations commander.
Friends, this is in fact the key, is getting decent people in, and we do want to mention our support for Representative Scarborough from Florida.
Yeah, he's the one who wants us to get us out of the United
My goodness,
Nations.
let's give him some applause and some checks if we can. Representative Barr from Georgia, who has so far helped prevent this ridiculous taggant legislation. Now, friends, if Clinton and his ilk are successful in putting taggants, you know, this AR-15 is a nice gun, but it doesn't work without these bullets. And if they put taggants in small arms ammunition and gunpowder, won't be any more bullets, friend. It's going to shut it down, and they know it. They know it. And while your representative or your senator is at home now, you need to get hold of them. You need to see them if you can, and need to mail them some things to Washington. Also, our friend Steve Stockman down in Texas, awfully good person.
Well, we've got Bartlett in Maryland.
Bartlett, Maryland.
Steve Stockman in Texas. Stockman is top notch. I mean, he has he just introduced a bill to flat repeal the Brady bill.
So, friends, we are neck deep in this battle. We need your help, certainly, and tell as many people as you can about what we're doing on this program. Remember, our radio show, Thinking Right, is on Sundays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. It's on the American Freedom Network. It is free to local talk radio affiliates. It's absolutely. And you can call us, you can call them, you can call the American Freedom Network at 800-205-6205 and talk to them about it. Also, of course, our program is free to local TV and local cable companies, as well as our gospel program, too, is also free to them. So stay with us, friends. We've got a long way to go, and the battle is hot. Friends, remember that ignorance is treatable, and stupid, of course, goes on forever. Well, we hope none of you are stupid. Some of us may be a little ignorant in some areas, as we all are from time to time. Well, here's something that could prevent some difficulties for some of us out there. You know,
we really have some of the finest firearms we've ever had now that are available to us. Our Ruger semi-automatic, our shooting show competition model. Of course, here we have a Smith & Wesson model 657. But one thing to prevent malfunctions, this is something to think about. You need to check the rounds that you're going to carry in the gun. You need to know that they will chamber in this gun before you carry it. If you're a police officer or if you're depending on one of these guns for self-defense, you need to be sure, because even though the factory ammunition typically is real good, the dimensions can sometimes vary, and you may get a bad shell that will keep one from chambering. Well, that may cause a jam, or it may cause a cylinder to tie up on the revolver. Now, one thing you can do, you can put the shells in the revolver cylinder and load it there, and you can try them enclosing the cylinder and be sure that those shells will go all the way in. You check for high primers and be sure it'll rotate there. You can rotate the cylinder without having to fully put it in battery in the gun, being very careful, the gun pointed in a safe direction, but you can see if you have a high primer. Some of us as hand loaders carry rounds that we have hand loaded, and this is something that can tie a revolver up, a high primer, or maybe there'll be something in a chamber that won't let the cartridge go all the way in. So that's one way to check it. Just start it into the window here in the frame, and you can rotate it and see if those shells are going to go up in the window there. You see if you have proper clearance. If you have a high primer, it will typically lock up, and never force a cartridge. If for some reason it binds, take that cartridge out, put it away. Don't even think about using it. There's no need in taking any kind of chance. You just want to be sure that your cylinder will turn when it's loaded with the cartridges you want to put in it. Now, friends, where it comes to the semi-automatic, or when it does, it's a little more complicated if you ask me. We could cycle the ammunition through the semi-automatic, but that makes me a little bit nervous. So typically the semi-automatics, one good thing is they do dismantle. Most of them dismantle easy, and we know this gun's unloaded. We can take our slide off, literally, and take the barrel out, like on a 1911 or on this Ruger, and you can take the cartridges that you're going to carry in your magazines for personal defense, and you can actually fit them in the barrel there to be sure they fit properly. And if something's wrong with the cartridge, well, it won't go all the way in. If it doesn't go in easily, in headspace where it's supposed to, if it doesn't come out easily, discard that cartridge. Just don't use it, and get some cartridges that will go in the barrel properly. Well, just something we thought we would show you. You know, good shooting is safe shooting, and you darn sure don't want to have malfunctions if you can possibly help it, and these are some ways to avoid malfunctions. Soldier of Fortune magazine, published and edited by Robert K. Brown, former Special Forces A-Team leader, delivers the goods. For over 20 years, Soldier of Fortune has been on the lines covering wars from Rhodesia, El Salvador, Angola, Grenada, Burma, Panama, and Croatia. In addition, you will receive a free copy of Fighting Firearms, edited by Peter Kokalis. Again, 1-800-877-5207, 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine, $28.90.